Good evening and welcome to CYC News for today, the 26th of October 2014 AD and the 16th of Baba 1731 AM. I'm Susie Michael. A Christian Pakistani woman has been sentenced to death for speaking against Islam. Iraqi refugees in Lebanon and Jordan are forgotten and neglected. Pope Francis will visit Turkey, where Christian refugees have fled. Egypt's President El-Sisi says the Egyptians have rejected political Islam. And according to the Telegraph, Britain is set to crack down on the Muslim Brotherhood. In our top story, a Christian woman has been sentenced to death for blasphemy in Pakistan. She plans to take her case to the country's highest court after a high court last week rejected her appeal, according to CNN. Asia Bibi, a mother of 5 from Punjab province, was accused of defiling the name of Prophet Muhammad during a 2009 argument with Muslim fellow field workers. The workers had refused to drink from a bucket of water she had touched because she was not Muslim. In November 2010, a Pakistani district court found Bibi guilty of blasphemy. The offence is punishable by death or life imprisonment, according to Pakistan's penal code, and Bibi was sentenced to hang. Thousands of Iraqi refugees in Lebanon face a daily struggle for survival due to lack of employment opportunities and the rising cost of food and accommodation, Catholic charity Caritas in Lebanon said. According to Reuters on Tuesday, Caritas, which has cared for Iraqi refugees in Lebanon since 1997, said in its report that the escalation of tension between Syrian and Iraqi refugees has become a problem in Lebanon. Iraqis accuse Syrians of being the reason behind the decline in labour costs. Meanwhile, the number of displaced Iraqi Christians in Jordan is expected to hit about 4,000 in the next few days. The Director General of Caritas Jordan and a number of churches in Jordan are being turned into refugees camps. The report said that many Iraqi refugees are overly optimistic about returning soon to their country. This prompts them to stop looking for work or enrolling their children in schools. According to the report, these groups feel frustrated and depressed when reality differs from expectations. These refugees, for whom suffering has become a regular part of their lives, are then overburdened by stress. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees said that about 8,000 Iraqis are currently residing in Lebanon as refugees and political asylum seekers. In the past few months, thousands of Iraqis fled from attacks launched by Islamic State militants. IS occupied large parts of Iraq and Syria and declared them an Islamic caliphate. The international community accuses the Islamic State of committing massacres, beheadings, civilians and soldiers, sexually enslaving women and recruiting children to fight. Next month, Pope Francis will visit Turkey, where many Christians have fled from persecution in Syria and Iraq, Caritas had reported earlier this week. The Vatican said that this will be the Pope's first visit to the majority Muslim country, where he will meet with the Turkish President and Prime Minister. During his 3-day stay, he will also see the Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew I, who leads the Orthodox churches from Istanbul. Many individuals from Iraq and Syria, including Christians, Shiite Muslims and Yazidis, as well as Syrian Kurds, have fled Turkey. Pope Francis told cardinals in a meeting at the Vatican on Monday that IS is carrying out acts of terror that have been, quote, previously unimaginable. Egypt's experience over the past 3 years has shown that the Egyptian people have rejected the so-called political Islam, said Egyptian President Abdel Fattah El-Sisi. The Egyptian president added that Egyptians are religious by nature, whether Muslims or Christians. During a meeting with a delegation of the Federation of Arab Journalists at the headquarters of Presidency, Sisi said that Egyptians' political awareness, which has developed recently, was enough to judge the failure of political Islam. Sisi stressed the importance of developing religious discourse to emphasize that killing and destruction in the region have nothing to do with religion. The president pointed out that Egypt is sparing no effort to contribute to the restoration of calm and relative stability in the countries of the region experiencing political turmoil and insecurity, including Libya. Prime Minister of England, David Cameron, will issue a crackdown on British groups with ties to the Muslim Brotherhood, says the Telegraph. Earlier this year, the British government ordered an inquiry into the group, believing that it was encouraging militant Islamic theology that led British jihads to Syria and Iraq. According to the Telegraph, the Muslim Brotherhood, however, insists that it is non-violent. Its official statements condemn ISIL and Al-Qaeda and promote democracy. The former director of M16, Sir Richard Dealove, said that the Brotherhood is, quote, at heart a terrorist organisation. The report said that the British news agency reveals a complex web of charities, think tanks and television channels in Britain, about 60 in all, which have links to the Islamic group. Qatar, the wealthy Gulf state, has harboured Yusuf al-Qawadiri, the Brotherhood's spiritual leader, for 30 years. During the Arab Spring, Qatar distanced itself from the UAE and Saudi Arabia for supporting the group financially. While the Muslim Brotherhood will not be banned, organisations linked to them will be under scrutiny. In addition, clerics from Middle Eastern countries, especially Turkey and Qatar, who have affiliations with the group, will not be allowed into Britain. And the World Health Organization has announced that millions of doses of an Ebola vaccine will be produced by the end of 2015. It said several 100,000 would be produced in the first half of the year. BBC reports that vaccines could be offered to health workers on the front line in West Africa as early as December this year. However, the World Health Organization cautioned that vaccines would not be a magic bullet for ending the outbreak. There is no proven cure or vaccine for Ebola. In response to the largest epidemic of the disease in history, the World Health Organization is accelerating the process of vaccine development. Whilst it normally takes years to produce and test a vaccine, the drug is being manufactured and is working on a scale of weeks to have it released. The disease has so far killed more than 4,870 people, mostly in West Africa. And that's all for CYC News today. Stay tuned for more Christian content on CYC. I'm Susie Michael from the CYC studios in Sydney, Australia. Good night and God bless.